I knew that was going to be about. Well, welcome back, people. As you could probably see or not see, none of you can see behind me, there's a big wall. And that is the opposite end to where I was fishing in my previous video. I thought as the fish were about in the previous video, in big numbers, I'd come again and try my luck again. It's more of a, well, it is a pleasure session this time. It's not a competition. That competition absolutely wore me out. Trying to sort of get out of the wind. The wind today and yesterday has been absolutely awful. It's pushing, it's supposed to be between 45 and 55 mile an hour, so it's pushing down the beach that way, hence why I'm down behind the wall, because covered. What you done? Can't see. What you done? Oh, you've whopped it out and now you ain't got enough length? What, you've cast it out, you've walked back up the beach and now you ain't got enough? Oh, whatever will you do? So yeah, anyway, sheltering out of the wind. Because otherwise we'd be getting absolutely battered. But the weather has been so bad, I tried to go and get some lugworm. Again, as my main bait, and that didn't go to plan because there's been so much rain today. Every hole that I was digging out, it was just near enough straight away filling back with water. The sand was so soft, the shingly bit was so soft. Yeah, I just basically couldn't dig. So I've got a few that I could dig, but it was nowhere near the numbers that I would have hoped for. But that's life, putting my eggs in one basket again, and today it hasn't paid off. So rigs for today are gonna be, I've got a choice of a couple that I've done. I've got pulley pennels with, these are 1.0 big mouths, Varivas. So they are a smaller hook, but they're nearly the same gape as a 3.0 anyway, which is quite nice. I've also got some boom rigs and some 3-hook flappers. I was intending to fish 3-hook flappers again, but considering that I've not got as much bait as what I would like, I might have to just go with the pennels and fish for big fish. I think that's what we're going to do. I'll get this one rigged up. It's the saddest amount of lugworm I think I've ever dug in my life. I don't even think there's not even a score there. 3 or 4 big ones and a few smaller ones. Not great. Oh, sorry. So, like I said, it's going to be a pulley pennel. I'm going to put a 6-ounce gripper on just because of the wind. And I think first cast is literally going to be straight lugworm, or what I've got of lugworm. Not a great deal here, to be completely honest with you, so we're going to have to roll with this. And these ones are very greeny in colour, like the juices that are coming out of them, so I'm going to get covered. So there, they are. It's only small. It's not a massive bait, but for a first cast, that'll have to do. And I ain't got my tea towel out. And I've got yucky, disgusting fingers. So that first cast is out, and it was a bit eventful, to be fair, because where this wall ends, like that, the wind's coming across this way. My lead was fine until it got to that point. As soon as it went past that point, it went, well, right round to me left, so I'm going to have to cast a little bit more to me right to try and account for that, because otherwise I'll end up keep fishing down the beach when I don't want it. So the thinking behind tonight was, for one, I could get out of the wind. Two, I fished the match last week and there was a lot of fish caught. And three, probably the most important one to be fair, there was a codling caught. I caught a codling and somebody else caught 2 codling. So I was like, right, they're about, and I want one again. So that will sort of be the target, I suppose. A big bass would be nice, but codling is the main one. Whether we get that or not, I don't know, but I'm going to give it a good go. I've just been a little bit skunked on the bait side of things. I would have liked a lot more lug to throw at it, but it is what it is. I do have squid. I've got bluey. Not really a typical bait for codling, to be fair, but it's there anyway if you want to put a ray bait out. But the squid is one that they do like. Oh, and I've got some blacks as well, so we've got enough to sort of to make up a bit of bait with and see where the night leads. It's going to be nice and chilled. I'm not doing no running up and down the beach like I did last time, like a lunatic, because it absolutely knackered me out. And today is going to be a chilled out, easy session, albeit getting absolutely battered by the wind, because even though I'm down behind this wall, it is still coming around that corner, and it is sort of, yeah, I think I've done myself in. It's not just coming across, it's coming in and swirling, so no matter where I put the shelter, it's coming on all angles. So never mind, we'll just deal with what we've got. Hopefully it's not too bad on the old audio. Oh, that didn't take long at all. First chuck, and it's a little bass, so they're still about. So my theory wasn't completely wrong. Just hope that we get the bigger and better ones, or the codling. So it's a good start anyway. Yeah, I reckon there'll be some big uns about. Yeah. I forgot to bring me crab. Oh, that weren't bad for a first cast, was it? At least it wasn't a wasted cast. This is why it's always handy to have good friends. Look at them. Lee had a load, so he gave me some. Because he's my friend. So I'm not having to worry about the bait so much. Because if they're going to be about like that, well, they ain't going to last long anyway. But it's more than grateful. So thank you very much for that, Lee. It's 2 lugworm. Casted fairly short, just in the running surf. And I'm going to do, well, look at that, they're not blacks. Going to do that again, maybe not with 2 of these ones, because these are massive, in all fairness, so it might just be one of these ones. Yes, it is a little bit overkill, I understand that, but I'm just trying to do things. Because that's the only way you learn, is by trying stuff, so keep going for it. Yeah, so I think it's time get some squid out, because I'm hoping that with all this tide and everything, there's going to be some big fish about, some big bass about. I've got to keep an eye on the rod, because that last fish, it just sort of went slack, and it weren't like a slack liner where it springs up, because of the tide and everything pulling around it. It's just sort of just basically breaking the lead out, and unless I get something of a fair size, obviously, then it's going to hoop over. But they're just sort of lifting up And I tightened down a couple of times and it kept lifting up, so I checked it and obviously had the fish. So yeah, there's gonna have to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, get some squid out, and hopefully, fingers crossed, there's a big one about. Oh, there we are, another one, just on the lugworm. It's a little bit bigger, this one actually, ever so slightly, but they're getting bigger. That is the main thing. I'm going to change it up slightly, and I'm going to put a squid bait on and just see if that still catches them. If not, I'll go back to the lug, but we'll see. Well, while I'm sitting here waiting for that squid bait to soak, I thought I'd just insert a bit here of where the viewers have picked as such. I haven't forgotten about it. It's just been not the right conditions by like a long way. If I was fishing Brighton Sea tonight, oh, just give it away. But if I was fishing there tonight, it'd have been practically unfishable. So I haven't forgotten, and I will do a video for Brighton Sea. I've just got to wait for the weather to pick up a little bit. Plus, it's basically a river, so with all the rain that we've been having, probably not going to be ideal down there. So yeah, Brighton Sea it is. I think 1 or 2 people said a bass video. So yeah, it's going to be a Brighton Sea bass video. And sorry, I thought I'd bite there. But yeah, so what I'll do is in this video, I won't insert it. I'll leave it out until I've done the Brighton Sea video, and then I'll let you decide again, and we'll go from there. But yeah, thank you for the people that commented. I haven't forgotten about you, and I will get round to that as soon as I can. Well, there we go, look at that. I knew that was going to be about. I'm so happy. There must be so many about down here. That is an absolute clonker. I'm going to get it measured, see what it goes. You got that measuring? Oh, look at that. Oh. Well, that ain't no help. I reckon it's about 50. It's just over, it's over the stick. So yeah, it's just over the stick, about 50 centimetres. So yeah, Parker job. That's what we come for. It's just on 2 lugworms, so they're about. So happy. So yeah, I was just over talking to Lee, who's with me, obviously, because he donated me the bait, or some of the bait, and had a conversation. Come back, stood in front of the rod, and it just started. It just went. I was like, oh, it's gone slack. So I reeled into it. Didn't really feel like a lot, and then once it actually tightened up properly, I was like, oh, feels like a fair bit of weight there. But I think what's happening is because they're like pulling out in the tide, the fish are kiting in towards us. So you're not really, they're swimming in, so they're not fighting against you really, they're fighting with you. So you don't really know 100% what you've got until it's sort of 20, 30 feet from you, which is a bit of a strange sensation, thinking, you just see this big head come up, you're like, ah, I've got one. But yeah, so the pennels were definitely a good choice. The lug was definitely a good choice. I did have the squid out, and I did lose one on the squid. So I've actually put that out again, but with lug attached to it. But yeah, I thought they would be about. It's the right sort of weather for them. As much as it's a bit uncomfortable for fishing in, if you can manage it, it is well worth getting out in the bad weather, because there can be some monster bass about. Don't get me wrong, that's not a massive monster by any means, but for what we get round this way, I'm going to class that as a monster for me, because yeah, they're getting very, very hard to come by. Especially to say, I'm going to go out, I'm going to target them. So yeah, I'm more than happy with that one. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a few more. Still got plenty of time left. So yeah, it's going pretty well. Yeah, gotcha, bitch. Well, it's definitely an epic night for the bass. Try and clean some of that sand off him. Sorry, oh, geez, really close there. Look at that, another one. Not quite as big as the last one, but it's another one. I do apologise, there's not really like any rod watching or whatever, but there's even nothing, there's no indication they're gonna go or anything. So yeah, without the camera constantly rolling, I'm gonna miss them unfortunately, but you get to see the end result. Lovely big bars of silver. So yeah, there's a few about, and I'm gonna keep smashing them while I can. Get them back. Oh, the other way. So I thought I'd just run you through what I'm doing, but just make sure you pay attention, because it is extremely complicated. You might need to pause the video, go back and do whatever, because it is, honestly, it's really, really complicated. So what you do is you get one big lug and you thread it on, just like you would normally. Pop it over the eye of the hook and slide it up the line. Now here's the when it gets a bit tricky, you get another lug and what you have to do is just slide it up the line, slide it up the hook, sorry, and pop it over the eye of the hook. Then slide everything down together with the top hook, wind around a couple of times and hook it through that top worm at the top, and that's it. So really, really complicated. Joking, it's not really. You shouldn't need to pause it. It's just me trying to be funny, which never really works out. But yeah, lugs the bait of the night, super simple. Sort of as easy as it gets, really. And yeah, tighten everything up, clip it up, and away you go. Well, as you can probably see behind me, there's a big concrete wall, and that's because I've now been pushed further up top. Obviously, I can't go any further than that unless I go up, obviously. Which I'm not intending to do. The tide is getting rather close, but this beach has changed so much since the last time I fished it, like before the match last week. It used to be just completely smooth, clean sand, but there's now shingle everywhere, massive gullies, snags everywhere that have all just been uncovered. So all this bad weather that we've been having has absolutely demolished this beach, but the plus side of that is the fishing is actually still really good. So it's one of them. So you have a nice flat clean beach but no fish, or a bit of rougher ground and fish. I know which one I'd rather have. But yeah, even what I'm sitting on now is, I'll show you, a big shingle, yeah, lump I suppose, and then we'll see. So yeah, it's getting tight. I'm going to go till about 4, so we've still got a little bit of time left. But the bites have dried right up, which is a bit strange considering near enough right from the off there was fish, and then this all seemed to have slowed down. So you had the big one, I had another small one, but it was only literally palm sized, it was tiny, but it was still enough to pull my lead out, so it shows you how strong the tide is. Hopefully we have another one. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I've seen a few shooting stars tonight, but I think I've run out of them now. I've used all them up, so we're just going to have to rely on pure grit and determination at this point. No, nothing else to help me out. But I'll bring you back if I have anything else. Still got a fair bit of bait to use up, so I'm going to keep plugging on. Well, that is final cast. Hopefully we get something on that. Ever doubtful at this point. But it's been a very pleasurable session. I've caught a couple of decent bass, which I'm more than happy with. And it's been a relatively pleasant evening considering the conditions of, like I said earlier on in the video, 45, 50 mile an hour winds. So I'm quite lucky that I know little places like this where I can get out of it, because otherwise it'd have been absolute hell. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all the interaction with a lot of the videos at the moment. It's good to have some feedback, and it's good to have people getting involved and commenting and doing bits and pieces like that, so I do really appreciate that. But don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video, and if I don't catch anything on this cast and show you, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.